the way they're speaking about this Anthony Richardson guy from this combine, and I know people are going to say, like, well, combine hype is all fugazi and everything like that. Team executives are leaking to these insiders probably when they're boozing downtown here every single night in Indianapolis, which this is the NFL spring break. They're saying Anthony Richardson's interviews have been the greatest interviews we've had in a long time, pretty much. NFL, ESPN NFL, Anthony Richardson is said to be crushing the combine. I talked to a handful of scouts last night. Every single one of them said Anthony Richardson is the best quarterback interview they've had this year.
Wow.
So I reached out to Denny Thompson, who I obviously got a chance to meet this past fall. I said, hey, would you come on and talk about Anthony? He's like, absolutely, would love to talk about Anthony, because a lot of the things that people might have thought of Anthony just by watching him play, they have no idea about him. Can't wait to chat about him, because they're talking about these meetings and they're talking about recalling plays and drawing things up. And Bryce Young, I guess, has been a home run in these meetings as well. They're putting some things on the board against coverages that he has not seen, asking him to dissect it, break it down, what he thinks is going to happen, what he doesn't know is going to happen, taking him back to a play he did. What did this defense do against you here? Because that recall in a 15-minute interview, that recall is what you're trying to find out whether or not a quarterback has or they don't have. Apparently, Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson have hit fucking dingers in there, and that's the most important part of this entire thing.
Yeah, and the whole size thing obviously is getting talked about, but I think it was the Panthers GM who just came out and said, hey, Bryce Young in person, they're going to talk about how he, how big he is. In person, he is much bigger than what you see optically from the
that's
Twitter
good
videos.
news.
Yeah,
200.
Yeah, because Alabama's got massive humans.
Yeah, and going against, he's getting hit by massive humans.
No, I'm not even, different animal. Whenever we're talking about the NFL, I won't even get into that, but I'm just saying whenever you look at him, he's always around Alabama dudes. So like the only time we've seen him on TV,
massive O-line.
He is in a huddle or behind an O-line that is all 6'6", 6'7". So he might look optically a little bit smaller because of who he's around. That's like whenever I, was in the NFL. I was in the NFL.
Right. Yeah. Hall of Fame nominee.
Yeah, and people would see me. They would always say to me, oh, you're a lot bigger in person than I thought you were going to be. It was like, well, whenever you're just hanging around like 6'5", 240-pound people all the time, you are all of a sudden the smallest person in the group. And then I would go back home and hang out with like high school friends and stuff, and I'm like 6'1", 240, like, oh, I'm kind of a dog around here. Like, I'm kind of a little bit bigger guy. And then as soon as I get back to Indianapolis, it's like, oh, there's a little bitch.
Put it into perspective.
Yeah, there's it. Yeah. So maybe that's kind of what's been happening with Bryce Young, too. Maybe optically illusion because of everybody at Bama being the biggest humans on earth. But also, to your point, he's probably taking some shots, we'd assume, from big people. I'm happy to hear that the size is not a thing that people are saying like, oh, it is ridiculous, because I thought that was going to be the biggest deal, and there is a good chance that Jim Irsay is going to want to get. If an owner's saying, hey, that guy in Alabama looks pretty good, and the owner, has 100% ownership of the team, the only owner of the team, he's going to be able to say,
he carries some weight.
He's going to be able to do whatever he wants. So I think me and a lot of Colts fans are like, oh, Jim Irsay wants Bryce Young. And then my first thought was like, great, we're going to have another Matt Ryan dead, Carson Wentz dead, Andrew Luck dead, like Jacoby Brissett dead. Like every quarterback we pretty much had. You can go all the way back. Kerry Collins, I talked about him a little. Kerry Collins was our quarterback for a week and a half, maybe a week. I don't even know. Dead. Curtis Painter, dead. Charlie Whitehurst, dead. Literally every quarterback we've got put in there since Peyton, who's just Iron Man. Peyton played every game all the time. Had Andrew Luck, got beat up, retired. Like, being available at the quarterback position, in my eyes, most important part is Taylor Heineke.
Man.
He won with the Commanders.
Oh, yeah.
Is Taylor Heineke the most talented quarterback in that room?
Probably not, no.
Was Taylor Heineke able to do things that other people in that room weren't able to? No. But was Taylor Heineke always there for his teammates? Yes. Was Taylor Heineke always there for practice? Yes. Meetings? Yes. Games? Yes. Always present, always reliable, always consistent. It's like, that is a very important piece to who's going to be your franchise quarterback. So whenever Jim Irsay is just talking shit at a press conference, he's like, that guy in Alabama looks good. My first thought is like, oh, no, here we go again. This guy's going to get hurt. Reports coming out now like, hey, all the calls for this guy of being a tiny little elf Not the case. That is fantastic news for whoever's getting Bryce, but also for Bryce as well, that narrative's kind of changing.
And you know, Jim's he's gonna go up to Chris Ballard and say, "Listen, I wanted Jeff Saturday. I gave you Shane Steichen. Okay, it's my turn. Bryce Young."
Hey, you remember when you did the whole "I'm not hiring Jeff"?
Okay.
I had to tell Jeff when he was fishing. You think I wanted to do that? Jim says.
Yeah.
Remember, Jeff's down there fishing.
Yeah.
When he does that video.
Miss you, Jeff.
I don't know if he was expecting to get the job, thought he was going to get the job, hoping to get the job. We still have not talked to Jeff since that whole thing.
No.
I just assumed Jeff did not want to be the head coach anymore after how last season went.
You would think.
But reports are saying
He wanted it
Jeff
bad.
still wants a job.
big
Jeff
time.
still wants a job. Jim wants to give him the job. So Jim has to call him and tell him, hey, I'm hiring who Chris Ballard wants us to hire. His name's Shane. He was just in the Super Bowl. He runs the offense with Jalen. They're like number one offense.
Unbelievable.
Whatever. They're very good. Don't want to do this. But believe me, Jeff, believe you me, I got Chris's ass for the next fucking.
I'm going to get my guy.
That would be a
what I'm thinking.
very, very comedic thing if that was the case. But the Carolina Panthers still in the game for a quarterback. Houston Texans still in the game for a quarterback. Colts still in the game for a quarterback. Jets still in the game for a quarterback. Raiders still in the game for a quarterback. Niners allegedly
Yeah.
still in the game for a
Falcons.
quarterback. Falcons looking for a quarterback. There is a lot of
That's
movement
49ers.
that could come. So the fact that Bryce Young is kind of jotting off all the things that people are potentially saying the reason why he won't work is great news for the NFL as a whole. And if you listen to Dan Orlovsky, it sounds like he put the Dan wagon on Bryce Young.
He
Big
has
time.
attached it to him big time.
Gonna get drafted.
Like I know.
You're confident in what you can do. As we see, these quarterbacks seem to be very confident. C.J. Stroud, didn't he say he's the best one there?
And you can make content. Yeah, I think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
going to be some good competition. I heard you
Yes.
kind of take a shot at AR through Denny in defense of C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, he did.
You
What'd
asked
I say?
the accuracy question. I guess that is something that has been brought up about Anthony Richardson.
Oh, see, when I did not mean anything towards Anthony Richardson. I don't know enough about Anthony Richardson to know if he's not that accurate because
I thought his arm
I was
talent
just
was-
talking in general.
I thought we were talking-
in general. I want to be like, hey, can you make a guy accurate if he's not accurate? That's
Yeah,
all I
you were
want
trying to
know.
debunk a theory almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. And then when he took it the way he did, I was like, oh, maybe AJ was. Maybe this is a big talking point that we don't know about. And AJ was like, oh, CJ Stroud, incredibly accurate.
Interesting.
Isn't that the biggest thing? People,
weird.
oh. That's what I thought. Like, as he was giving his answer, I was like, oh, of course, AJ.
I didn't want to stop. I wasn't going to interrupt him, but hey, I wasn't talking specifically about your guy there. I was just in general.
Yeah, because that is a real question. And a lot of teams, if they see a guy as inaccurate, it is a big strike against them.
Yeah.
But once again, at the combine, nobody's expecting them to be picture perfect on accuracy because they've never thrown with these guys before. Like these aren't, and that's a real thing that happens at the professional level. That's why when a brand new wide receiver comes in and it works immediately, you got to give a lot of respect to the quarterback and the wide receiver for figuring each other out quickly, whether it's through reps or good conversation, good intel, everything like that. You got to know about it because the amount of reps that go in to build chemistry is bananas. Now, the person that I got dropped into the NFL, who's the quarterback of the team that I was on, is like the king of this. I think is what he's known for. Peyton Manning and his quarterbacks, the amount of reps we're getting just on, we're doing this route and we're going to do 7,000 of them. Then we're going to do this one and we're going to do 7. Because he was throwing that ball when people were nowhere near breaking or turning their head. And he's just expecting them to be at this exact place. And we worked it. And it worked.
Yeah, big
It
time.
worked for a long time. That's one way to understand what a guy is. Then there's other conversations, and some people just gel well. So I don't think anybody's expecting them at the combine to be immaculate. I just want to see the show. You know what I mean, AJ?
Yeah.
Chuck it.
Yeah, and you could show, like, even if you're, let's say you overthrow a couple guys, whatever, I don't think they'll hold it against you. Like, you want to show, hey, I got an NFL caliber arm. I got a live arm out here, and I'm going to show you right now.
Dude, a guy just doing, and then think about CJ watching Anthony Richardson do one of those, and then Bryce Young's not throwing, but he's going to be standing there watching
Yeah.
this whole thing.
And you show that you're a competitor, too. You show that you're not scared to compete. I love the big stage. I can do it when it matters, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
because you're answering right afterwards. So you know when you're standing at the beer pong table
Exactly.
and your partner makes a shot, okay? Massive advantage if you make this.
Absolutely.
And now everybody in the room knows. Everybody in the room can feel it, okay? There's like a little pressure on that, unless somebody's way too intoxicated to even realize the moment. There's a little heat on that. That's every single throw at this thing for these, because if, let's say Will Levis, I got a fucking cannon, does. Anthony Richardson, known to have a great arm, like strong arm, right? He's up next. Now here we go. And just like even like outs, flicks of the wrist. Like there's going to be like some, you know what I mean? Like I'm excited to see the show that these guys put on. And I think it's good for everybody if they continue to do it. The content should be ridiculous. Here's all the quarterbacks are at the 2023 NFL Combine. Guy out of Shepherd, Sweet, Tyson,
Baggin.
Stetson, Malik Cunningham out of Louisville. Hey, quietly a dog.
Also a dog, yeah.
Watching him play is electrifying. Max Duggan, okay, there's the dog. Jake Hayner, Jaron Hall. All right, he's a player.
Jake Hayner's Bears' favorite quarterback in the draft.
Real?
Yeah.
They might take him at 1 then, is what you're saying?
Hendon Hooker, Will Levis, Tanner McKee, Aiden O'Connell out of Purdue. Hey, Aiden, like 5-6 years, right?
Walk on.
He's been there the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Did he do it against Penn State or Clifford did it to them?
Oh, yeah, the very first game of the year?
Yeah.
On Thursday night. Yeah.
Clifford did it to them. Aiden was a player, though. He was like a big-time reason why Bear would be either pro Purdue or not for Purdue. It was always something in the conversation. Anthony Richardson throwing, C.J. Stroud, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, dog. I got to call his first game. He was out of Las Vegas. What's that high school over there? Bosco, maybe?
Bishop Gorman.
Maybe that one's up. There we go. And he was highly touted freshman Chip Kelly offense playing against Cincinnati. That was before Cincinnati. That was like the game.
As they were.
That Cincinnati started their run where they almost went undefeated a couple different years. They were ranked in the top 10 and everything like that. Luke Fickle no longer there, but that was a hell of a run. He's supposed to have been a guy since high school.
Yeah.
Like this is the next guy. He'll showcase some incredible talent. Clayton Tune. And then Bryce Young, who will not be throwing. We got a show this weekend.
Hell yeah. Go, boys.
They got to be pumped, man. Everyone at the Combine, the people that are there still have to be excited.